This is KGW News at Sunrise.
First at 5, residents at this Clark County apartment complex face a massive rent hike.
And there's no place for any of us to go if we have to leave here because we can't make rent.
Coming up, they explain why they don't have any other options.
And if you're needing a little inspiration to get you going for the day, maybe you should pop into a certain Fred Meyer store. The man who greets shoppers at the Hollywood location makes them feel pretty special. And when you find out what he's lived through, it'll definitely make you stop and talk to him. We'll have that story ahead.
Looking sharp there. Who doesn't need a little inspiration midweek? Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Your forecast is inspiring me. We're on a roll.
Now, we have a mixed bag. I start off with showing you some showers pretty close to Portland, but generally speaking, it's going to be a nice partly cloudy day with temperatures getting up into the 80s, and that is the roll that Brenda's talking about. Here's the upper level low we're still tracking, and this has thrown some moisture close to Portland. Right now we have a light shower outside of Salem. There's one out on the east side. This has been including Sandy, and then you get just near Troutdale a little bit of light rain. We do believe this is going to be kind of the boundary of precip chances today, with most of the action being farther away from us to the east. So in the city of Portland, to the bus stop we go. Partly cloudy skies, 50s out the door, 73 at noon. And there's that roll. That's going to be the word of the day. Back up to about 82 for a high temperature. Back to you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rod.
Doesn't make sense how they say it's low income and then they cut an arm and a leg off and say, hey, you know, that's what you got to do.
That's just one of the tenants at a Washougal apartment complex who says that they're running out of time and options after the complex raised their rent by 40%.
Yeah, most of them are low income, retired, or elderly, and say they can barely afford to pay the price as is. Catherine Cook has more.
At Rockwood Terrace Apartments in Washougal.
As you can see, we've got kids.
Just about everyone here
I haven't bought food for myself in months.
Is on a very tight budget.
I'm disabled and I'm on Social Security.
And there's no place for any of us to go if we have to leave here because we can't make rent.
Suri Adams says not making rent became a real fear on Friday for her and several other tenants. That's when they got this, an offer to sign a fixed year-long lease with a nearly $400 a month rent increase, bringing it to $1,365.
This is a major hike, and for an apartment complex that's nothing but retired, elderly, disabled, and low income.
Management gave tenants just 1 week to sign the lease, though the rent increase won't kick in until December. Many tenants, like Kathy Marshall, feel pressured given the risk of renting month to month.
If I don't do that, I'm going to be maybe looking at more.
If we don't sign a lease, they can up it again every month if they feel like it.
On top of the rent hike, Rockwood Terrace Apartments also imposes income restrictions. For example, one person renting an apartment can't make more than $38,940 a year.
It doesn't make sense how they say it's low income and then they cut an arm and a leg off and say, hey, you know, that's what you got to do.
This nearly 40% rent hike is legal in Washington, which has no rent control. In Oregon, rent hikes are capped at just under 10%. That will rise to 14.6% in January. Back in June, the Vancouver Housing Authority told KGW since Washington lifted its eviction moratorium this year, many property owners in Clark County have increased rent by about 15%. They're also seeing a rise in evictions.
We have nowhere to turn. There's nowhere to go.
We wanted to ask the owners about the rent hike. The Rockwood Terrace rental office was closed and no one answered our calls. According to public records, the owner is Post Rockwood LP, and its address appears to be a postal center in West Hollywood, California. It all makes tenants feel unwelcome in their own home.
I'm really fearful right now. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Vancouver residents will vote on a property tax to help pay for affordable housing. Monday night, the City Council unanimously approved putting the levy on a special election ballot. The current levy expires next year. So here's how the tax breaks down. Homeowners would pay about 30 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. The city expects to raise $10 million a year over the next decade. If voters approve, the money would help 2,500 households with rent. It would also pay for new affordable units. The special election is scheduled for February 14th, 2023.
In your morning headlines, we start with the search for a 16-year-old from Salem named Zach Brenneman. Families say Zach was last seen last Friday at the West Salem High School football game, wearing black jeans, a black shirt and jacket, and dark blue shoes. If you see Zach, you're asked to call Salem police. Oregon getting a $20 million reimbursement from FEMA for some funds spent during the COVID pandemic and the 2020 wildfires. Senators Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley making that announcement. Recipients will include the Department of Human Services, State Police, and the Department of Forestry. The Ridgefield Teachers Union has officially voted to approve their new 3-year contract. You might remember they went on strike for 6 days. Kids will have to make that up at the end of the year. The agreement includes a mandated cost of living increase for teachers, reducing class sizes, and improvements for special education students. The union reached that deal with the district over the weekend, and the students were back in class on Monday. Those are some of your morning headlines.
A North Portland food cart is back in business 2 weeks after a devastating fire. On September 4th, the fire broke out at this food cart pod on North Vancouver and Fremont. It burned Pepe Chili's Taqueria to the ground, and it did more than $100,000 in damage. So after cleaning up the space, owner Julio Mendoza brought in another food cart. He says he's behind on his bills right now, but he's doing his best.
We have a lot more to pay to be able to be on business. We still, it's really hard to see if we're gonna be, but thank you everyone for being supported.
Monkey Thai street food was also destroyed in that fire. Portland Fire and Rescue hasn't released the cause of the fire yet.
All right, Rod Hill joining us again now. And yes, we feel the extra special treat on this last official day of summer. It's great temperatures.
Special.
You guys are so giddy about our weather lately. You're making me laugh.
Well, it's either been too hot,
Yes,
or smoky
right.
or something, and so this is just comfortable.
I'm with you. I just love the giddiness. I really do. Today will be the 4th day in a row if we make 80 that we have done so. We hit 86 in Portland the last couple of days. Of course, yesterday in particular, we had that beautiful deep blue sky. We're going to get some cloudiness today for partly cloudy conditions, but assuming that we stay dry throughout the afternoon, and I think we will, we'll be back up to 80 or a little bit better. We're still tracking this upper level low. Here it is right here down along the California border. By the way, this is the last day we're going to be looking at this. This will start the weekend and kind of drift off to our east during the day tomorrow. But look at what it's doing. It's throwing some thicker cloud bands up toward Portland, and we have these showers. One of them is, all this is trying to push back to the west. So this shower with a decent little downpour where you see the yellow area, that's going to try to push, or it is trying to push back to the west across I-5. These showers, if they hold together, could make it back into Gresham and get maybe close to the Glen Jackson Bridge for commuters coming in over the next hour. Here's our Futurecast model. It does show the cloudiness at 7. Doesn't really show much of any precipitation. It actually thins out that initial cloud band during the day. And again, our forecast overall is partly cloudy. And overall, the forecast is dry today with the chances of showers best south and east of the Portland-Salem area. Here are some showers developing this evening up over the Cascades. Wider vantage point, you can see most of the large areas of rain holding to our south, which is where they were yesterday. Here we are at 6:30 this evening. There's maybe a thunderstorm around Burns and that scattered shower roll up along the Cascades. And then going into tomorrow morning, see where there's that straight line? That's low-level moisture. It comes in off the Pacific, hits the Cascades. It's not deep enough to get up over it in terms of height, so that's a good signal that this is low-level stuff. Now, I still believe we could get some shower activity or at least some drizzle with that overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, but then during the day tomorrow, we clear out. That upper-level low is gone, and everybody gets sunshine. Again, fall begins tomorrow evening at 6:03. Okay, 40s and 50s right now, including 56 in Portland. Here's your 7-day, 82 today. With all those, obviously there's a shower chance, right? And all that dancing around, the chances of rain. So obviously that's in the forecast. That shower chance ends tomorrow morning. And then we're really nice into the weekend, back up into the 80s on Sunday.
Those are good moves. Oh, boy.
A little bit.
Rod, it's only Wednesday. Calm down.
Pace yourself.
The best dressed employee in all of Fred Meyer, I assure you, works at Portland's Hollywood store. His co-workers take pictures of him every day just to catalog his fashion sense. But his story goes much deeper. Next, the journey he has survived that'll have you rooting for him.